Welcome back to Sci-Fi Book Trek. Today we'll be doing our spoiler review of Consider Phlebas, the first book in the Culture series by Iain M. Banks. But first, a summary.
Right, initially you find out a shipyard is being destroyed by the enemy and has to save the mind it has by launching it in a ragtag ship. It sends it off. The ship does an amazing maneuver.
Do a barrel roll!
Somehow to save the mind, explode, and also send the mind into a tomb world, which is a dead planet looked after by an alien with extreme power.
Similar to the Organians in Star Trek, the original series.
Yeah. The two factions learn about it, the Culture and the Idiriums, and they set out their main spies to find the mind.
We can't go on together with suspicious minds.
We then get introduced into a lovely world of the spies, with Hawser being chained up and having his poisoned teeth and claws removed, and in a room where shit's gonna fiddle it until he drowns. He manages to escape. Then the Idiriums who are working with him say, look, this is the mission, you've got to do it, but we've been attacked by the Culture now, so we're going to stick you in an airlock and throw you out.
Take a giant step for mankind.
And then the plot and Hawser get hijacked. We have a little fight club.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
Where Hawser gets his seat in the Firefly ship. Might as well be mercenaries. Yep. Then they decide, I know, we'll reenact Vikings and attack Linda's farm. That doesn't go well, so they go, I know, we'll go advanced and we'll board the Titanic. That goes as well as expected. Then Hawser is dropped into what can only be described as Apocalypse Now Colonel Kurt's wannabe on a desert island. He finally gets out of that and goes into sort of a spy movie where he has to stalk his prey, which then descends into a film noir where it's all black and white. He has to fight in the shadows. After that, he gets back to the mercenary ship and he finds on board is Balvida, the cultural spy.
おや、気づきましたか。陸殿も好き者にござるな。
And you think, thank God, the plot can resume. So, with Hawser now in charge of the ship, they, knock out the cultural spy, Balvida, and blast through a ship, getting out. They get away and they go on to the tomb world. When they're entering the tomb world, the alien says, oh, be careful. Oh, there's death here. Be careful. Because all major entities are cryptic. They can't actually just tell you. No. They have to be cryptic. So they land, find all of the people who were monitoring this tomb world for the entity, who also happen to be the same race as Hawser. They've all been killed.
Everybody's dead, Dave.
By what we find out is the
Idirians.
Idiriums. Don't know why I'm blanking on that. Idiriums, and they've gone further down into this little railway tunnel. It's basically a railway set underground, built by a long-dead alien civilization who killed themselves.
This complex is part of a nuclear silo.
Yeah, but it's a railway set. So they go down, trying to hunt the Idiriums and also find the mine. They find the Idiriums, have a big fight, kill two of them, knock one out, tie him up, and he's now captured because Horsa wants to take him back to the Idiriums and go, this knob almost broke my mission. He should be punished. That's his only driving influence. They go on a bit. The Idirium guy escapes, smashes one of the computers to locate the mind. They tie him up again. They take him along. They tie him up to a big pillar. He escapes again. Just before that, the female who has got attracted to Horsa and has been sleeping with him comes to him and says, I'm pregnant, and you can see a clock appear above her head. As if she's almost said, I'm one day from retirement. So, when the Idirium escapes the second time, he kills everyone apart from Horsa, Balvida, and a drone.
This is after one of his colleagues, Gomez Adams, has train into the station.
Yes, as decided to play train sets. But anyway, Horsa goes mad and just tries to chase him down, shooting at him with a gun. Eventually what happens is everyone sort of gets injured or gets killed apart from Balvida, and she has to carry the injured drone and Horsa back out, plus the injured mind as well, which they found. Drags them all out, and then just as they're in the ship, Horsa finally dies. And that's the end, until we get a post-credit scene.
But wait! There's more!
AKA Animal House, where we find out Balvida went into stasis for a bit. Well, saved the mind, but went into stasis and then came out and decided to kill herself.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Horsa, well, he just died, and we find out all his society, all the changelings, all got wiped out and killed, which was nice.
That's nice to hear.
We also find out the mind took Horsa's name,
Ray Skywalker,
in full, and now runs a whole big ship, which was nice.
That's nice, dear.
We find out the Idiriums lose the war, and most of them die, apart from like the home planet, which was never attacked. Then we find out the drone, he served the culture for a bit, then he's retired and making little models.
Good Lord, didn't anybody here build ships in bottles when they were boys?
The end.
Loves and hates.
Loves. The initial plot line and the end. Hey, they're like 200 and odd pages at the sort of beginning, which just did not need to be there. It could have been just said, the Idiriums could have said, look, we're fighting, we've set you up with a mercenary ship that is going to take you to this world, because we're too busy fighting the culture at the moment. And they just dump him on the ship, and he's got to take the clear air turbulence and just go into the planet. It's all they had to do. It's just, it felt too meandering. But anyway, let's go back to stuff I liked. I liked how they flesh out the culture. I mean, like, the culture seems to be, though it was all portrayed from the sort of enemy side, it was like, well, I want to know more about them.
Would you like to know more?
So we can see why later novels just focus on the culture. Even if it wasn't planned, it's just, they are the most interesting aspect.
Mm.
Some of the people come across as they're just there.
There are some that are just barely characters.
I did kind of like all the interactions with Orsa and Belveda.
Mm.
They were fun. And I could have enjoyed more with that. The like end part I did like when they're in the tunnels and stuff like that. That was all nice. There was like some tactics going on with the mind not knowing what to do and fighting against Vidiriums, and Vidiriums fighting against Orsa because they think he's initially from the culture. And like all the sort of confusion going on. Sort of like fog of war, so to speak. How about you?
There is one particular... Well, for a start off, there's a couple of parts in the book which I just thought, are we getting an insight into some sort of thing with the author's fetishes? Because, in particular, when you're introduced to a virtual coprophagia scene right at the start of the flipping book, okay, we'll execute this spy, and we're going to execute him by having a banquet in his honour, and all of the shit that we create is going to funnel down into his cell and drown the poor bastard.
I am in a world of shit.
Likewise, there's another section in sort of the first... It's that first half of the book. It's the cannibal section.
Yes, Colonel Kurtz, Apocalypse Now.
Yes.
He's golden fat man surrounded by slaves.
There was no point.
And he's just speaking gibberish.
There was absolutely no point for that section to be in there. And again, it felt, once again, like some sort of fetishistic element that the author had snuck in just for the sheer yes, and then this great fat man bites the fingers and toes off of this poor screaming slave and then decides to ride the poor bastard's face, and it suggests some sort of sexual element to it as this guy is basically writhing under his fat guy's fat folds, and I'm like, that was the point where I was starting to think, do I really want to be fucking reading this any further?
Yeah.
And that was the problem. It was like, it didn't contribute anywhere else. The only thing that contributed at all was the fact that it showed Horse's natural weapons at play. The claws and the spit things in his teeth. But that could have been done easily by a different...
And like, he gets one of his fingers bitten off, which never comes back.
Yes. And conversely, the last section of the book for me, I actually found kind of... It was action-filled, I'm not disputing that, but it sort of, for me, I don't know, for me it kind of... It felt like I wanted to get through that section quicker. And possibly because of the drag chute being pulled in that earlier section, I was just burning through it to see. It's not... Again, that section wasn't bad, it's just that it didn't kind of... Like, the earlier sections...
Yeah.
Minus the coprophagia and the cannibalism... That actually kind of interested me because it almost felt like a spy novel. That was where I was going with in the non-spoiler version. I saw it as a bit like an Ian Fleming type thing, where Horser is almost like a freelancer James Bond, and we're seeing this adventure from his perspective as he's launching these missions, and he keeps getting waylaid, and he...
Yes, James Coburn is back as Derek Flint, the master of the kiss, the karate, and the kill.
Poor guy, the world, the universe shits on him.
Yeah.
Literally, at the start of the book, but he continues to try and keep plodding on and keep going and keep making something of his mission, and I kind of liked... I don't have an issue with the character of Horsa. He was quite good, and like I say, his perspective on the culture, seeing the utopian ideal, like your Star Trek Federation, seeing that utopian ideal from outside perspective, and having all this cynical mindset about it, about how, well, they're not really in charge. They don't control their own destiny. They're just being run by these computers. Yeah. Creatures of comfort.
Ooh. Egg and chips. Egg, chips, gammon. Chip butties.
Similar to the humans in Time Machine.
Yeah, the Eli.
You know, perhaps that's the potential where that species is going to end up, because they don't have any, you know, they don't have any drive.
Yeah.
The byplay between the two major characters, Horsa and Balvida, where Horsa blows hot, she tends to blow cold.
Yeah.
Where he is quite passionate, she goes quite logical. And I kind of like that. It was kind of like watching Spock and McCoy play off against one another.
Like, yeah, I mean, that interplay between them I did like.
Logic suggests.
Logic? My God, the man's talking about logic. We're talking about universal Armageddon.
You're green-blooded, inhuman.
Bridge to Admiral Kirk.
And like I said, there are a few like interesting ideas and interesting concepts, like the orbitals.
Yeah. The orbitals were,
and with like the ships going round it as well, like inside, and it does do some things with them. It does flesh out the world. However, I don't know. I still think the first part is just way too meandering.
I kind of liked it. Like I say, I think we've pivoted. You like the first little bit, and then the second mostly.
Yeah, where
I quite like the first bit minus a couple of sections. Again, after the cannibal section, I quite like the description of the damage game.
Yeah,
and the idea around that. It's like, Jesus Christ! I thought Yu-Gi-Oh got hardcore.
Card games on motorcycles.
Card games on motorcycles.
Card games on motorcycles.
I mean, I did like some of that, although it did felt like a sort of slump in the story. It was like I wouldn't say a rest. I would say a slump. It was just like the story sort of still going on and like sort of still sort of happening now. I don't say breakneck pace, but like it had its own sort of cadence to it. Then the damage game, it's just like a
rest now, human.
And though that is interesting, there's something's going on in it. I do like, but it did feel like almost a sort of initial part of the reset. This is like a calm down. We're gonna get back to the story soon. You mentioned about you not really liking the end of the review.
I think it's just the ultimate fate of the character of Horsa.
Yeah.
I felt that was a bit of a shame. But that said, the title of the book is kind of a dead giveaway as to what is ultimately going to happen.
It is if you bothered to go look up T.S. Eliot's poem and understand what it means.
But that is something that I clearly did after I read the book.
And to be fair, even with like my knowledge of it, I know it's supposed to be Horsa. I don't fully think it should be. I think if anything, it should be what is it? Zalin. The guy Horsa fights.
Yeah, the Adirian.
Snaps his neck and they throw him overboard.
Oh, right, yeah, the guy who has to fight to get on the privateer crew.
Yeah. I think I could probably make a good argument that Phlebas is him rather than Horsa.
Yeah.
Just because one, it's short, but also he's just lost in space.
Danger, Robinson, danger!
And
discarded.
Yeah. And,
ultimately pointless.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that it was a required thing, because they make the point the captain isn't doing this because he's got limited bunk space or he's got limited oxygen or supplies.
Yeah,
it's literally
does too much. Horser does too much.
Yeah.
To be really considered Phlebas, I think. Yeah, for my money, but yeah, anyway. We'll go on to
Nitpicks.
But yeah, anyway, let's nitpicks.
Yeah.
We'll start with the initial part where they escape from the Titanic and they crash land in the water.
Yes.
Now, Horsa, who's still got his suit on, his spacesuit, can swim, and the spacesuit doesn't weigh him down.
Yeah, because it has been sort of put across that suit is quite leaky.
Yeah, it's also injured. It's got like a hole in at least
in the
leg.
foot. Yeah, because he's been shot.
Yeah,
yeah,
it is damaged, and it is an old suit. Like, also shuttle sort of floats just below the water. It's like maybe if it was trapped air, I guess.
Dear Lord, that's over 150 atmospheres of pressure.
How many atmospheres can the ship withstand?
Well, it's a spaceship, so I'd say anywhere between 0 and 1.
But it floats in such a way that its top is perfectly sort of level with the water, and horse can go to sleep on it.
Yeah.
It's like it's got shot full of holes, even if the air was like trapped in sort of certain compartments. You drink one of them might be damaged enough so it would leak out.
I've got to admit, what bothered me more about that section is the fact that Horsa is in the back of the ship. They've been tossing out all the bunks, they've been tossing out all the seats, they've been tossing out everything that they can to make weight, so that room is basically empty.
We're too heavy! We need to lose some weight!
So there's no way for him to be restrained when they hit the water. Whereas Meep?
What's your name? Meep! Hi, Meep. I'm Phineas, and this is Ferb.
Mip?
Yeah, it's something like
the guy in the front who's piloting, who's strapped in, is the one that ends up dead, whereas Horsa doesn't even really get bruised from presumably being ping-ponged around the cabin.
Deep, whatever you want to say, he was already injured, he was dying.
Yeah, but the thing that killed him supposedly was wasn't it one of the consoles that had come free and basically smashed his teeth in?
Yeah, I think that finally finished him off, but he was bleeding to death.
Mm.
This my all the girls.
Anyway, I mean, do you have any?
The ring worlds themselves. Very, very cool. Don't get me wrong, the orbitals, but I find them a bit of a weird anomaly. Like, the idea of Dyson spheres and ring worlds, in Dyson's own sort of analysis of the idea, if you are creating something that massive, you are probably of the technological level where you don't need to create something that massive, because for the purposes of the engineering, the technology, the resources that you would use to put something like that together, you would presumably have something better. And I'm probably making a meal of this explanation, but it just seemed like a bit of an anomaly that if you've got something that big, like a mega structure of that type of size, how do you make something on like that on a massive scale, even with a post-scarcity situation, because post-scarcity just means that there's no, limitations on resources aren't there. But you can only really have that if you've got some way of manipulating matter so that you can just, like...
Yeah, which isn't fully explained, although they do say they get matter from it from different sources. I think asteroids mentioned also, like, bleeding the sun. Sorts.
Yeah, interstellar matter.
Yeah. But, it isn't explained fully. Or at all. The orbital is going to be blown up by the culture. There's like warning signs saying, this is going to be blown up in a few days. There's no cultural ships anywhere near it, though, in sort of like radar. However, the culture have somehow took command of a few shuttles so they could land one by, the nutters on the island. Or them. So it's like, at some point the culture must have come and said, look, can we commandeer this ship, to, like, get everyone out of there. But then buggered off again. And waited, oh no, we're just going to wait far away. For the time we're going to blow it up.
Oh, I'm going to blow it up. It obstructs my view of Venus.
It does? That's a shame.
It also bothered me, the idea that the culture would send... I mean, there was clearly no thought put into it as far as it was just an evacuation shuttle.
Yeah.
Manned by Talkie Toaster.
I very much doubt he'll be the same annoying...
Howdy doodly-doo! How's it going? I'm Talkie Toaster, your chirpy breakfast companion.
Which...
I thought that was funny.
Oh no, I loved that, and when Horsey just kills it, I was like, you fucking monster!
I thought it was completely on character.
Yeah, but he's just like, you fucking monster.
No, the entire ship's on fire. Well, I can't see it. No, you can totally see the smoke. Bang, shoots his eyes out. It's like, I'm blind. He's like, yeah, of course, that's because of all the smoke. It's like, I thought that was funny, but no, that the point that I was going to make was, why on earth would you send a recovery shuttle to pick up a bunch of cannibals? I didn't think they were so hedonistic as that they accepted the idea of people just murdering other people.
I'm just guessing they didn't know what was going on. It's just like, oh, there's a bunch of people on this island,
and we got
they
to
don't seem
evacuate
to
them.
have a way off.
Perhaps.
Tell you what, just after the damage game, sorry, just after the damage game, also gets caught by security. He scratches them and then suddenly goes, oh, I scratched her with a nail that just knocks her out instead of kills her.
My non-lethal nail is like...
the first time we're ever hearing of this. And it's like...
This time we took our counter-hypnosis bat pellets from our bat capsule dispensary.
Is he trying to bullshit someone or what? So that felt, what? That felt odd. But then he gets, he leaves because the game is still going on, but the captain's left.
Craigland's already bowed out.
So he goes after him. Then he sees the captain and he sees, the eye come out, even though the game is still going on.
Yes.
Why has she come out?
That didn't make a lot of sense because
it feels
she's there
like
to cover the...
It feels like she only came out so she could be held at gunpoint to follow that cab.
Follow that car!
And he was just like, I don't understand why she's come out at this time.
Yeah, because the game was very much still going on and there was still plenty of time.
If you're covering a game You stay till you find out who the winner is, so you can report that. That is the big report.
Or in the case of the damage game, until everyone decides, yeah, we're about to die in 30 seconds.
Yeah. It just felt, why is she left? Oh, because Horsa needs a lift. Right, okay. Also, Horsa has a gun. He's got claws and teeth. And he charges down a blind alley after the captain, who knows someone's coming for him, with his gun out like a idiot. So it gets knocked out of his hand, so then they can have a scuffle, and he doesn't use his claws or teeth. Why not?
I can only presume that it was so that it didn't leave any remains or anything that could be identified back to him, but that's...
Yeah, he throws the remains into the ocean. Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't matter what he looks like. Yeah, a little thing. Horsa, like, as we've established, does not like AI. And the drone is on board, being incredibly annoying.
C-3PO.
Yeah. Why doesn't Horsa just shoot it? Or kill it?
Or void it.
Yeah. There are a million things you think, oh, well, that character would do it. Because we've just seen him shoot an AI who was nice. This one is constantly in his face. And he's like, no, I'm going to keep it. And it's like, oh, right, this droid has plot armour.
You could argue the same with Barvida, but at least Barvida, he's got a tentative sort of...
You can see he sort of... There's a kinship there because they're fellow spies.
Yeah.
And so it's like... Also, she's human. So he's like, I don't respect any machines, but I respect a human.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have like a few little niggling ones, but... I'll leave them. So it's like, have you got any last ones? Right, we'll move on to final thoughts. Final thoughts. I liked half this book. The other half I could quite easily just get rid of. Like, all the little interesting bits were fun. The like little state of plays. They were fun. All the bits you learn about the culture and stuff were interesting. Horse's journey didn't really care for, at least initially. Like Horse himself, I didn't really care for. Valvida, I was like, yeah, she's the only one I'm like, yeah.
Tentatively invested in.
Yeah. All the others don't really care. Like, maybe some of the other crew, but as soon as, like, you learn quite early on, the crew is there just to be killed. Like, they might as well be all teenagers in a slasher film. They're just there for the body count. Not to be anything else. So as soon as you do that, it's like, then you think, oh, well, what is it? Yaz?
Yeah,
Yasin might survive. She goes, I'm pregnant. Like, right, she's dead. Alright, okay. So it's like, everyone's dead at that point.
Everybody is dead, Dave. Apart
from Bal and probably the drone and maybe the mind. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. And that's pretty much what it does.
Conversely, I enjoyed the adventure story element. Again, a couple of bits that I thought did not need to be in there. But I liked Horsa's journey. I actually liked the character, and I liked his sort of antagonistic viewpoint towards the culture, because it gave this interesting outside perspective.
However, I don't think you fully really understood why he hates the culture. So much to do, like, to join up with the enemy. The enemy who kills both his girlfriends.
Well, yes.
And he's still determined, no, I want to take this mind back to him. It's like...
Yeah, but even
really?
more so the idea that, oh, I want to take this guy home so that he can be punished for fucking up my mission. It's like, no, dude, just... You say about him not shooting the bloody drone, it's like, no, just pop a cap in his ass and be done with it, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Especially, I could understand initially, but as soon as he escaped the first time, I would have just shot him.
Yeah.
Or at least ripped his limbs off.
But, I mean, as a rule, I still enjoyed the read. It encouraged me to... It probably will encourage me to seek out the next book. See where it goes from there.
Hmm.
It's a shame the fella died.
Okay. No, I don't have that feeling, but... Well, thanks for joining us for this spoiler talk. Now, next week, we shall be reviewing another book. It's called Off to Be the Wizard by
Scott Meyer.
Yep. Now, this is a book which has been recommended to us by a friend who swears on his life it's sci-fi. And I will hold him to that. So, join us next week for our review. Bye.
Bye. That really and truly. Oh, and the destruction of the destruction of the orbital.